Well, it's fall here at the nursery, and I wanted to take a moment to talk about some of our native grasses. We get the most native grasses in stock this time of year because it's when they're really showing their best face. In the fall, our grasses will bloom with their unique flowers, and then they will set their seeds. And something that a lot of people don't think about with grass is they overlook their wonderful design benefits. And I think that every pollinator garden would really benefit from having at least one bunch of grass added to it. And so some of the design elements that I'd like to mention is that they add a lot of texture to your garden, and they add a lot of lovely color, and they can add some luminosity as well as a fantastic movement. And so when their seeds are blooming in the fall, they tend to catch the lights, especially in the mornings and in the sunsets, and it just diffuses, and it looks like this beautiful smoky cloud that glows and hovers above the tops of the plants. And it also blurs the edge between the rest of your perennials and between the air. And it really softens things and looks very, very beautiful. And as far as their colors go, they come in a lot of different shades of green. Some of them have a more blue tone. Others will have white seed heads or purple seed heads. Some are darker green. And it's really fun to play with shades of green in your garden because you can pair them with different colors. And that adds a lot of variety, and it's very subtle and something a lot of people don't think about, but landscape designers do. And so that's something that you can incorporate into your own yard and just kind of take things to the next level. Another thing that's really nice is they have a lot of verticality, and that's going to give a sense of architecture and structure to the rest of your plants. A lot of our perennials may be lower or rounded. They have their big round petals, and it looks really beautiful when you add something upright around the rest of those plants. It will also help hold up a lot of your other perennials by giving them that built-in structure. Also, a lot of times we may have our houses in the background of our landscapes. You have a lot of horizontal lines, your walking paths, maybe the streets, and having that upright shape looks really beautiful, contrasted with that. Another thing is their movement is wonderful. And it's something that really brings a yard to life when the breeze comes through and you get those tops of the grass blades shaking around. It feels so magical and whimsical. And grass isn't always the first thing that people think to add when they're starting their garden. It may seem a little blah, but really it's super magical. And I would hate for people to overlook this. Another thing that's so great about the native grasses, and not just any grass, is that they have tons of ecological value. So it's not just about the beauty, but when you choose something native over non-native, you're bringing life into the yard. And so one way they do that is that they're a fantastic host food for hundreds of different moths and butterfly larvae. A lot of it are moths, and so you may not even see the effect that they're having in your yard, but it's important to attract these moths because that means you're going to bring in bats that are major predators of moths and are a fantastic addition to have to your landscape. And then of course you're going to attract a lot of birds. They really rely on these, and some of the moths are very beautiful, even they will go unnoticed usually. For example, the grass veneers are a group of moths that are very attracted to these plants, and they're petite, but they're beautiful with their white and gold metallic stripes that blend right in with the blades of grass in the daytime. Another thing that songbirds will love about having grass in your yard is that these seed heads are a very important food source to them. So it's like having a built-in bird feeder in the fall and then carrying into the winter when food becomes more scarce. They're going to be attracted to your yard and fluttering around and hopping on the ground, coming to eat these seed heads. Something else that's beautiful is they add a lot of shelter, which is something that's vital to attracting animals into your yard. everything from birds to bunnies, maybe even foxes, lots of different creatures. They're going to seek out these clumps of bunching grasses to go in there and hide from predators, or even to raise their young. You know, maybe not everyone wants to attract rabbits to their yard, but I think that it's really joyful and really entertaining to watch these animals raising their young and make families in your yard, and I think that's a great honor. Also, grasses are very soil stabilizing. That is probably very important to you if you have slopes in your yard, or maybe have some type of bank that you want to keep tighter in, prevent soil from washing out with heavy rains. These roots are very, very vast and will hold in soil very strongly. They also come in so many different species that there are some types that like dry soils. If you have very poor ground and a lot of full sun, that works well. But if you have very wet areas, grasses like the Fakahatchee grass, these are great at sucking up lots of water. And that means that they're a great addition to making rain gardens. You can put drier grasses in areas that maybe be on the berm of a rain garden, and then pair them with other ones that like to suck up a lot of water in wet areas. Another great thing is that usually at the base of your bunching grasses, you'll have bare parts of soil. You can attract some ground nesting bees. And also, I have heard that if you plant a matrix of bunching grasses and other perennials, it might perhaps help deer from grazing all of your perennial flowers to the ground. It may help obscure all your plantings, so it's a little less easy for them to come through and eat everything at one time. And so these are great plants to have in your yard. They usually love sun, so that's something to keep in mind. But whether you go for a grass that has wide blades, like a beautiful love grass, or maybe a muley grass that give our purple plumes of feathery pink flowers in the fall with their needle-like blades that are beautiful and shiny. There's really a grass for every single location and every environment. And so I really hope that people can appreciate these beautiful plants and add one to your yard.